Hey, welcome back to Mike's Italian Grand Adventure. So we have gone through a lot of the demo, and actually now they're in the process of starting to build everything back up. So I'm standing in my bathroom here, and you can see behind me some fresh plaster on the wall. And so there's not going to be tiles on this wall, but this wall over here is going to be tiled, but not all the way up at the level it was before. We're going to come down at the lower level, closer to 140 centimeters here. And that's like 4 feet, 3.5, 4 feet. And then we'll go up around the shower to this line up here, and then back around. But in the room right next door, which is going to be my bedroom on this floor, they started to repair some of the cracks in the wall and scraping off some of the plaster. And you're not going to believe what they found. So here's the bathroom once again. You can see this is where the old tank was for the toilet in the wall, and I showed that in the previous video. The blocks that were in here and the bricks that built up this wall, and this wall is like 2.5 feet thick. Like you can see this wall here where the windows are. That's how thick the wall is. This is the wall on the inside, and it goes all the way to the outside of the window, and that's solid. So you can see already Adam is working on the plaster here. We're going to put some tile on this wall at about this level right here, all the way around. So they'll fix the plaster up above this area. And you can see he's already plastered this wall today. So this area, this is wet still, so they're going to let that dry some more before they plaster over it. But this whole wall here, this is all fresh plaster here, right here, all looking good. And so this was, trenched out for power. This electrical was trenched into this wall. All that stuff is starting to be hidden now, and they're building the house back. So, but let me take you into, this will be my bedroom here. So you can see this big wall. There was a crack up in the corner, and so what they do is they just dig it out, so that then there's somewhere for the repair and the plaster to go into the wall. So I just got here, the guys just left a few minutes ago, and I got here, and Darek was up on the ladder here, and he was scraping some plaster for a crack, and a big chunk of plaster fell out, and I saw the red brick behind it. So I said, hey, there's red brick, because there was some concern that there might be a gray brick. Sometimes they use gray brick for behind the, the ceilings and whatever, and that's not really beautiful when you reveal it. So if that were the case, then we may not be able to expose the brick ceilings. And on this floor, my floor, I'm planning on exposing the brick ceiling in this room, which will be the bedroom, and the room next door, which is the living room. The kitchen I'm not going to, the bathroom and the hallway I'm not going to. So I was telling Dodder, when he was scraping, I said, hey, did you find any murals? Is there a Sistine Chapel on the ceiling? And he said, yeah. And I said, what? Don't be joking with me. He's like, no, there's something up here, but I can't, it's too hard to clean it off without it coming off. So anyway, just let me show you here a little bit what they've found up here. So you can see definitely on the plaster, these are painted lines very clearly across the ceiling. And that part's not so bad, actually. I scraped off some more of that. But what you can see is down here, you see this red behind the plaster? So that's some red paint, and actually up over here, do you see that kind of ochre, kind of a yellow, mustard yellow? So that stuff was on the plaster as well. And as this top layer comes off, that paint comes off. So you can see right here, there's like an ochre, and then there's a bunch of this red, kind of a yellow, mustard yellow, and there's a bunch of red all through here. But when you take the plaster off, like when you peel this off, that red goes with it. But if you kind of scrape through it, you see that. So, I don't know what to do, but you can kind of see in here. Can you see the red brick back in here? So that's a good sign for exposing the brick in the ceiling. But you can see, here's the brick in here, and look at how thick that plaster is. It's really thick. So they're gonna have to take a lot of material off to expose that. But the other thing is, well here, actually here, let me show you in this crack up here too. Look at that painting behind the plaster. So there's some very, very obvious red paint up in there. And, you know, quite honestly, I don't know what to do. Darek was saying that, you know, maybe you need like a steamer to kind of steam the plaster off so it doesn't damage the painting underneath. But obviously he's not an art restorer. He doesn't know how to do that stuff or what to do with that. Oh, I just see another place over here that he exposed. So those lines go all the way around the room. You know, just today I was out running some errands with Paolo. We had a problem with the water wasn't working here. So we drove over to the water department in a nearby town. It's like 20 minutes away. Really beautiful town, by the way. Monclave, I think it's called. But this is another great example about the kind of lack of bureaucracy that you always hear about in Italy, but I haven't really experienced yet, fingers crossed. But we went over there, went into the office, there was no line. Paolo explained what was going on. I showed her my little document for my account, and she got on the phone and she called a guy. And then like 2 hours later, a guy shows up over here. And he pulls out his wrench and he opens up the water box and he disconnects the meter and takes it out and he turns the valve on. He's like, no, there's water coming to your valve, to your meter. It's not, the water is not the problem with the city. It's from where it goes into your house. So we went downstairs and we worked the valves on this tank. They have a big pressure tank, like a cistern that the water drains into, and then it's pressurized by a pump to make the water pressure in the house better, which it's an old one. We're going to replace it, hopefully. But for now, that's what they're using to mix up the plaster and cement and everything. So we reworked those valves and we were able to get water flowing again, long story short. But anyway, we were coming back from, or going to the water department, and Paolo's like, oh, here, I want to show you one of my other places. I think he has like 13 places he's renting in this region. And so we go in, and it's a beautiful little one-bedroom apartment, kitchen. It's actually 2 apartments on 2 different floors, a little smaller than this house, but he rents them both out. And he's like, look at this bedroom. This mural was on the ceiling, or this I can't even think of the name of it now, but this was on the ceiling. So I snapped a photo of it. So hopefully you can see that now. But man, I mean, how cool would that be to be able to restore that in here? I mean, and obviously leave the plaster on and not expose the brick in this room. But he said also, Darek said when he was scraping plaster, he saw paintings on the ceilings in the bathroom, this bathroom here ceiling, and in another room. So a good chance every single ceiling in this house has murals painted on them. Yeah, again, I can't think of the word. I'm thinking like Michelangelo used to do frescoes. Frescoes, yeah, frescoes, okay. So anyway, here's another place I just noticed when I was just looking at the room. Look at that up there. So you can see the color, and those lines are obviously, they're at the exact same point as they are on this other side I just showed you. So clearly those lines go all the way around the room, maybe on that back wall. And then certainly on this curved part, all the way back over here to where this crack is. Again, that's at the same level. And man, I mean, wow, how cool would that be? I mean, honestly, if it's something that I could do, I would do it. I would spend weeks in here cleaning that ceiling to expose a painting or a mural. I would just have to know how to do it and do it properly. So I don't know, maybe we can ask around, maybe Paolo knows someone, but literally I just discovered this like 15 minutes ago. So really, really incredible. But let me just go ahead and show you some of the other stuff that's going on around the house here as we digest that little nugget of information. Wow, really, really cool. So this room, this is another room this will be the living room that I want to expose the ceilings in. Again, this one's got the great floors. The zigzag pattern is super cool. And the tiles are in great shape. They've got all the outlets in this room, except for I would like one here on this wall with the windows. So I'd like one right here. And they're thinking they're going to be able to drill down to the floor before where the new panel is going to go, as opposed to trenching all the way around and up around this door. But here's one of the big changes. This is where my kitchen's gonna be. So they did not waste any time. So Darek was telling me this is where the IKEA kitchen's gonna go. And Darek's like, what are the measurements? We need to know what's gonna happen. We need to know where to put stuff, whatever. And he was kind of on me. So I ended up doing a video conference with IKEA last week. And it's not finalized, I didn't get it ordered, but I got the structure and the shape of it and where everything's gonna go for sure. I'm probably gonna change an appliance or two. She suggested black, and I think I'm gonna switch back to stainless steel for the oven and the hood vent. But here, I'll just show you what, first of all, here's the wall. And then this is what the IKEA rendering of what it's gonna look like is. Again, I think this has the black appliances on there, the hood scoop and the oven, but those are gonna be stainless steel. But on this wall here is gonna be the right tower and the wall oven and then a cabinet above it. And then all the way across, just one counter and then another tower over here with the refrigerator on the left end. So it's gonna go from wall to wall, no uppers, because below it is all drawers. Each one of the cabinets has 3 drawers in it. So there's a 40 centimeter cabinet, a 60 centimeter cabinet, a 60 centimeter cabinet. That first 60 centimeter cabinet will have the inductive cooktop and then the hood. The hood is right up here. And actually there's a chimney in this wall. So we were able to channel into that chimney right there. So the exhaust from the hood will go into there. No charcoal filter recirculating in here. So this is gonna be a counter outlet. And then this will be for like a little junction box underneath the kitchen. And then we'll have another counter outlet here. And then this is water lines and the drain line and water there for the dishwasher, and the sink will go there. Dishwasher right next to the sink. And then this is for the wall oven over here, this electrical here. So we're coming along and they're gonna be able to get this all taken care of. But we did come up with one issue, of course, in an old house like this. Darek was telling me, he's like, Mike, let me show you this. He's like, this wall is not vertical. It's not plumb. It angles back a bunch. So it's kind of hard to visualize, but it's pretty straight, actually. This lower half is relatively straight, but then at about this point, it angles backwards and goes up. So you can really see it. I took a level and drew a line on the wall. So you can see this line here. This is a plumb line, perfectly straight, up and down. And you can see how close the line is down here. It's really close here. But then it comes up here. And by the time you get up to the top here, where the top of the cabinet's gonna be, it's like 7 centimeters. So that's like almost 3 inches. Yeah, 7.5 centimeters would be 3 inches. So that's obviously, there's no way to make that work. So the solution that we're gonna do is we're gonna fur that out and do drywall, just from the countertop level up to the top of the cabinets. So not all the way to the ceiling, but just to the top of the cabinets, which are at 220 centimeters. So we'll do drywall to make that nice and plumb, so the cabinets on the ends go firmly against it, vertically, no gap, and then also the hood scoop will be nice and flat. So we'll have a nice flat wall along there. And then it'll step back. There'll be like a 7-inch, or 7 centimeter, 3-inch little ledge that'll go back to meet the wall, and then it'll continue on the regular wall. So I think that's a really good solution. The alternative is to build that out and plaster it all and get it to tie in up there. And this is an old house. There's some things we have to do. Like I talked about the air conditioning and heating units, how we're gonna have to probably do some of that on the surface in the hallway. And these are just the compromises you make, and I think that's gonna be fine. The kitchen cabinets are like this kind of dark walnut wood that are gonna look really good anyway. And that's gonna draw most of the attention. So I don't think anyone's gonna notice that little step back, and it'll be nice and uniform from the top of the cabinets all the way across. I think it might even turn out to be kind of a cool little detail, quite honestly. So yeah, this is where we're at. It's you do all this demo and you just see him cutting into the walls and just debris everywhere. And then they start to kind of fix it back up and you're like, oh my gosh, that's awesome. I can't even see where you trenched out the wall to put in that electrical. So really, really cool stuff. So again, back here in what would be my bedroom. So Yeah, I don't know what to do. For sure, it'd be expensive and time consuming. And obviously there's some damage where this crack is already up in the ceiling. But you know what? We could fix that out. You know, that crack goes, up here, and maybe we fix that and I don't expose the brick from the ceiling. Wow, how cool would that be? Actually, if there's a room we're gonna do that in, it might be this living room, because there's this huge crack up here in mine. Maybe we expose the brick, but if there's actually a mural up on this one, or a fresco, this would be the room to do it, because there's no major cracks. And maybe we can expose it here. So I don't know, fingers crossed, let's see what happens. But anyway, that's one of the fun things about doing these remodeling projects is you find the unexpected. You find the unexpected, like that wall over there being off by almost 3.5 inches at the top, or over in this room, you might find an old fresco. So we'll see what happens. But okay, that's all for today. I just wanted to give you guys an update on that, and these new things kind of happen every day sometimes. Tomorrow morning, they're going to be here to pick up the debris. He was supposed to be here last week, been trying to get him here forever. He was supposed to be here today at 1:45. Didn't show up until like almost 2:30, and just popped in and said, okay, I'll be back at 8:45 in the morning. So, but I think that's finally going to happen in the morning. Then we're going to cruise over to Turin to the Technomat, the Italian Home Depot equivalent, and we're picking up shower pans, tile for both bathrooms. We might pick up the toilets and bidets while we're there. The controls that go on the wall, for sure, we want to get those. So everything, so they can start finishing those bathrooms. Man, this is incredible to me. I mean, it's like, what, we're 2 weeks in, maybe? A little over 2 weeks? I think on tomorrow will be 2 weeks. So incredible. Yeah, really, really amazing at the rate these guys are working. We have a lot to do, a lot more to do for sure, but it's definitely encouraging. So if you guys like the content, please click on the little thumbs up, give me a like. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and click the bell to get notifications when I upload new content. And yeah, I mean, also I still have memberships. If anyone would like to join, I would love that. I've got a ton more video content than I'm able to share here, because I'm here almost every day taking video of what's going on. So there's a lot more content up there that you can see. There's just not enough time here to put it all on my YouTube channel. So those are maybe not edited quite so much. They're just kind of maybe uploaded, but still lots of great content there. There was the other thing I was going to say is we're getting really, really close at the time of this recording to 2,000 subscribers. I think the last time I checked, it was like 1,944 with 35 new subscribers in the last week. So hey, it's coming quick. We're gonna hit 2,000 pretty quickly, and probably by the time this video airs, it will be 2,000. So thanks again for everyone for subscribing. Thanks for following along, and stay tuned. Lots more exciting stuff coming up.